Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Hillbilly Military Modeling here. And what we have here today is a kit review of our next project, and that's the Soviet light tank BT-7 by Zvezda in 1/35th scale. This is kit number 3545. It's a 2020 rebox of a previous kit. The kit was first released in 1992, and the cost to me was 29 bucks USD. First up, we'll take a look at our instructions. Zvezda does give us a little bit of history, but it's in 6 different languages. In the English part here, and I imagine the rest of the histories in the other languages are the same. There's only 2 sentences on it, so if you want to know more about it, you'll have to research it. So our instruction sheets are the fan fold type. You're very familiar with that from older models. They're usually all laid out pretty much the same. It seems to be pretty chronological order for assembly, and it's very clear, and I don't see any mismatches in the part numbers or anything. Part placement is clear and shouldn't be a problem figuring out how this thing goes together. So we do have 2 options here, version 1 and version 2. Version 1 is with the tracks stowed on the fenders, because this vehicle could be run on the road with the tracks removed, or rough terrain with the tracks installed. And version 2 is probably the one we're going to build. I like my tanks to have tracks on them. And also included is our color diagram and our paint chart. So that lets us know what colors we should be using and which versions that are available. Now let's take a look at our sprues. First up will be Sprue A. This sprue contains our turret parts, and we have nice texturing on our turret halves. And here we have our gun mount assembly and the rotation drum for the gun. There is some flash here that needs to be cleaned up. And we have some nice texturing detail on the top of the turret. Here you can see our main armament, the barrel of our main armament here. It is one piece, but we will have to drill out for the muzzle end. Also, we have our antenna group, which was only included on the Commander version of this vehicle, and I think we're going to install that. Here we have our hatches and the rear hatch also for the turret. Our next sprue is B1, and B1 contains our lower hull plate and our upper hull plate, and some suspension components. We'll take a look at those. We got some nice rivet detail on the lower hull here. As you can see on the bottom, there's a lot of detail there. And the upper hull. Now, don't worry too much about the discoloration in the plastics. Zvezda tends to use this plastic that looks funny, but it's smooth. Here we can see our drive sprocket, and it's not real sharp. In these older kits, you'll find that a lot of the details are not real sharp. If you're expecting the kind of definition that you would get in a Tamiya kit, you'll probably be disappointed. But at this price point, it's not a real issue for me. I don't see a lot of mismatching though between the upper and lower mold halves. Our next sprue is Sprue B2, and it has our left and right hull sides, as well as the one set, I should say, of front fenders. These are the rounded fenders. And on the side of the hull, you can see that we have a lot of rivet detail and bracing. The details aren't real sharp, but they're there, so that's a good thing. you can also see here the rounded fenders. We have some spare track sections as well, and louvers for the engine compartment. Here's another look at our front fenders that are rounded. And the early versions had the rounded fenders, so I think that's what we're going to use in this build. We also have a couple of shovels that will go on the back of the vehicle. And we have our side fenders as well. They have those ribs on the bottom of them. You can see them there. And then also the framework for the screen that covers our rear engine louvers. The only ejector pin marks that I see are on the underside of these parts and the inside. We'll have to clean up inside the fenders a little bit, but it's not deep, so it should be pretty easy to clean up. And next we have Sprue C, and that's our road wheels and also our idlers that go on the front of the vehicle. Take a look at the detail that we have here. So we have some tread detail. And also, this is the second set of front fenders. These are the squared ones. I think those was on the later version of the vehicle. And here we have some drivetrain components. These are the oblong looking piece here is the drive housing. And front suspension. Now this vehicle could be used on the road, on an improved surface, with the tracks removed to save wear and tear. And so it has steering components here. Now they don't work, they're just they're there in the straight position going forward. So when it comes to our road wheel mounting nuts there on the road wheels, they're just kind of rounded off. It's not a great detail. With these old molds, that's kind of what you expect. And here you can see this is the inside of the front square fenders. And that's the other side of the steering suspension components. Now, if you look really close on this wheel detail, you'll see that there are some holes that are supposed to be in the rubber tire portion. And some of them are closed off, so I don't know if that was a mold issue or whatever, but we'll have to drill those out. We're going to add that detail back when we build this, just to make sure that everything looks good. Next up is our link and length tracks. Now these are the only track option that is offered in this kit. So if you want different tracks, you have to buy those separate. But that's okay because I prefer these type of tracks. It's much easier to get a good track position and the right sag, especially on this Christie type suspension. It's not a live suspension, meaning that the track is real taut. But we do have some issues with this track. Mainly the flash here at our connection points for the hinges. And also there are holes in these track shoes that are supposed to, I guess that's for cleats that you can bolt on, but they need to be drilled out. They're not uniform. And here you can see the flash. We'll have to clean that up. Last but not least is our decals and this screen mesh that they have included. Now they put this in a nice little Ziploc bag for us. And here you can see the decals. They're nice and crisp. and the screen mesh goes in on that frame that covers up the louvers on the engine deck. And that will wrap this up for this video, guys. Our next video will be the build video. You're not going to want to miss that. So a big thank you to all of my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. I really do. And thank you for all the comments that you guys have been giving me. I appreciate your honest assessment of how the channel's going. And if you're not a subscriber, but you like what you see in these videos, why not go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out when I post a new video. Also, it would really help me out, guys, if you like this video, to hit that like button. As always, feel free to leave me a comment. I love to hear from you guys, so you stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.